Um, all right. So first order of business. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I turned it back to the computer because it was going back and forth and muting it.
Focus now, tell me that. It said
No,
recording in progress, I think.
you heard it through there, so that speaker's working. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know. There's Wayne.
Hi, Wayne.
So did everyone receive the minutes from February?
Yes.
All right. Do we have any comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Tricia. Do I have a second?
Second.
I saw a hand with Wayne. Thank you, Robin. If there are no comments or corrections, all in favor of approving these?
Aye.
Okay, all in favor. All right, before we get going with our regular agenda of business, I just wanted to take a moment to remember Dan Scher, who actually passed I think it was the last week of February while I was out of town. And I have not really heard much. I haven't seen much about it. I just know that it was confirmed. But I want to just recognize all that he did for our town. He started the EDC after the 2014 Plan of Conservation and Development. Did a lot of work along with Tony Bedini to find Sandor Max for us after much exploring of different companies, doing research, trying to figure out how to get the EDC off the ground. And a lot of what we do now, whether it's the newsletter or Explore, really comes from a lot of the work that Dan did. So I just wanted to acknowledge the work that he did for our town. And if I hear of anything of a service or anything that can be done in his honor, I will let everyone know. You want to say anything, Wayne? You worked with him I think.
I was in the very first meeting of the Economic Development Committee was me and Dan and Tony and Dmitry Rimsky.
Oh, really?
That
Dimitri, I didn't realize that.
It was the old meeting room downstairs.
Oh, my.
And we met, I think it was literally the month after the last plan was approved. And we sat down probably for like an hour and a half and then realized that we had no idea what the hell we were doing. And but it was okay. Dan had the idea of maybe going and getting some outside help, which eventually worked. It was Tony's idea to go after what we had labeled the low hanging fruit, which was, signs and cleaning up the park and stuff like that. And, from those humble beginnings, it's a full blown, look at this, it's a full blown group. So, yeah.
Great. All right. Well, thank you. And I will keep everyone posted. We have a lot of business to cover. I'm not going to do a review of what I've been working on because it's pretty much what we have here on our agenda. So let's start with the new business, Poetry Month, this April, which is an event sponsored by the WVA and the Gun Memorial Library. The intention is for all of the organizations around town to submit poetry by March 24th. That will be produced by the library on their makerspace. They're going to print these great with the logo and everything, make a nice production of that. And it's going to be all around town, businesses, organizations, everywhere. We're hoping everyone participates. And I was asked to choose a poem as well, and I was going to choose a few and maybe have the committee take a look at them. The Arts Council has already selected a poem through email. I believe most of the votes are in. So that I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And maybe Fran, do you have anything you would like to share with us since this is one of the projects you've been working on?
N- I think you've covered it pretty well. I mean, the officials of the town, and Michelle, I think you're being asked to provide your own poem as well as the head of, and Robin, I hope the solicitation has gone out to you. No, okay, well, I'll make sure it will. But the genesis of this, I think I said this at the last meeting, but Montpelier, Vermont does a poem city in the month of April. They've been doing it for about 20 years and it's all original poetry. And Liz from Five Janes had seen something about it and fell in love with the idea. And we started late, so we knew we couldn't solicit original poems for this year, but people do have favorites. And for next year, we do hope to be starting to look at original poetry. And the idea is to have people wander around town and read the poems, see where they came from. There will be readings and different activities that will take place. This is all part of really a jam-packed April with Restaurant Week also during the month of April. But it's exciting, and I think that I have not encountered anyone who is not really thrilled with the idea that we're doing this.
Remind me what it's called. Is it For the Love of
The
Poetry?
love of poetry is the theme.
And it's
And,
really
and
cute.
the logo is a pink typewriter.
It's
Sandor,
awesome.
Sandor Max has, we hired Sandor Max to help with the graphics, the naming of it, and the publicity. And as usual, they've done a great job. And I should also mention too that in terms of the funds for Sandor Max for this project, they are being provided by the Business Association in Sotheby's.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize Sotheby's was also sponsoring it. That's great. So Pastor Robert, the request and the information about it went out in a big email from the WBA. So there was a information about the meeting, about Poetry Month, about all the upcoming dates. It was so maybe it was in there and you didn't see it.
Yeah, I just saw it. I
But
just hadn't had a chance
there
to
are
look at it.
there are foot soldiers too. Ryan and Dana will be covering New Preston, and Ellen Prindle and Electa are going to be going around the depot, so that we hope that no one will be left out. But we have a meeting on Saturday morning, so we'll be checking to see that everyone is covered. But Robin, we can't possibly leave you out. But the Board of Finance will is being asked too. So it really is. We do want the planning, the planning commission. So find your poem, get it in.
Well, we have a ringer. We have Demi on the planning commission.
There you go.
This is true.
I'm delegating right now, so especially since he's not here. So
That's smart. That's very smart. Well done. Well done.
thank you.
Can other nonprofit organizations?
They're all being solicited. I mean,
Yes.
and you're talking about the Garden Club
Yeah,
or whomever. Yes, anyone. I mean, we hope we're covering all the bases, but
Okay.
please, yes. And I'm just trying to think. Liz, I'll send you a copy of the letter so that
Okay,
you have
great,
it to do.
great.
But basically, the poem is to be submitted to Audra at the library.
okay.
And the Makerspace is doing the creation of, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it or not. But this is the size. No, it's not going to show up very well.
That's
But the
'cause you're
idea is to have it
blurred.
prominent. I know it's blurred. I can't do anything about it, but the idea is to have it prominently displayed. And in some businesses that have extra windows or extra space, there'll be multiple poems.
And this year, we're not having to write our own.
No, this year you don't write your own, but get going as of May 1st and get started on your poem for next year.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll get Karen Silk to do it, except she'll do it for WEC, not us.
And she's also
Well, she's-
on the Arts Council. She was the one who
Oh,
submitted
well,
the
she's
three that
gonna,
we
she's
chose.
gonna do a lot of poems next year.
in terms of writing them, she can be for hire, and all the organizations can hire her for next year.
Great. So that's exciting and happening all month long. And I think just we have a lot of things happening here in April. And as I've been going around to the businesses, mostly the restaurants for the Restaurant Week communication, it's been a really slow February, March for most of them. And they are ready
Dying.
for a big April. So we're hoping to kick off the season with a little more gusto than we have in the past. So it's exciting that Poetry Month will be happening in April. All right. Are there any questions about that?
And if
you,
you do have questions,
Fran, can you use lyrics that rhyme? Song lyrics?
I think the definition of poem is pretty broad, so
Okay.
yeah,
Was it? I think it was a max of 24 lines.
it's a maximum of 24
okay.
lines just because of the space on the paper that she's using.
Are they also due March 24th? Am I correct on that? Or am I just putting 24?
Everything is due March 24th, hopefully. I mean, obviously, if someone submits on the 26th, but the idea is to give the library a chance to produce them. And if you can do it earlier, that's fine too, because then they can get a head start.
Great. That's fantastic. All right. So everybody, if you have any favorites or things that you feel would be appropriate, feel free to pass them along to I mean most everyone here needs to do one, but if you don't, feel free to share.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate. I mean, you can, get in touch with me, get in touch with Audra, Liz Page, or Ellen Prindle at the Hen's Nest.
All right. If there are no further questions, let's go ahead and move on to Restaurant Week. It is just a little over 2 weeks away, which kind of makes my head explode. But April 4th through the 13th, we have chosen the graphics. I would have pulled those up on the computer, but
You can do that. If you share the
I
screen,
know
then
it's
they'll see it.
being all funky. Actually, you know what I'll do?
Just share it. They'll be able to see it because you just do it from, just.
No, I know, but like the whole thing was freezing and being glitchy. I'm afraid to go into my drive and open more stuff, but I will open the web page because it'll give you a good sense of. Oh, sure. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Mhm.
That's weird. Okay, there we go. All right, so the web page has been built for Restaurant Week. This is the graphic that was designed for us, and it is the tagline, Savor Fine Food and the Arts, because again, we're trying to get people to come to town for more than just a meal. They designed a new logo, which has a little paintbrush here, which I thought was pretty clever. So this we're going to get some lawn signs made that looks pretty similar to this without all the food in the background. Very simple, big words, big dates. I have a hard copy of that, but I'm not going to try to open that. Not going to try to open that for you guys now, just because the computer, I don't want it to freeze. Just so everyone knows, we have 15 restaurants and vineyards. We've incorporated Hopkins Inn and Hopkins Vineyard as well. And 14 are yeses, with the 15th like a probably, like he just hasn't gotten back to me yet. So that's really exciting. Menus are due today, and I already have 7 in, so that is also very exciting. The Sandor Max is doing the promotion for this, so they're going to start putting on social media, where they're going to boost some of those social media posts. The yard signs are going to go in front of all of the venues and then some outside of town, like at the end of 109 into New Milford. I'm thinking up towards the lake, towards Warren, out towards Litchfield, and down towards Woodbury, trying to capture, bring people in. And that is, I'm trying to think of what else I need to tell you about that. It's been taking a fair amount of time for me to track down all of the restaurants. They don't all respond to email. Managers have changed. I've had to, make some phone calls. A couple of places I just walked in, introduced myself, but I have finally made contact with everyone. So that is exciting. Spring Hill Vineyards, which did not participate last year, is going to participate with a wine tasting as well. So that's exciting. So I think we're off to a good start. A lot needs to come together in the next 2 weeks, but with the menus already coming in and some pretty nice things, I'll just show you what the website looks like. So as you scroll down, each restaurant has a listing, and you can click here to view their special menu. And if they have an experience happening, whether they're showing some artwork or they have some music or anything like that, that's also listed. We've been trying to encourage everyone to feature an artist in some way, whether that's music or visual art. So you can see we go all down through the 15 participants. Oh, the other new participant this year is Washington Food Market. So that's exciting. They'll have, I don't know exactly what kind of specials they'll do, but that's fun. And then at the end, we have some of the other art events happening, whether it's openings. I don't remember if there's one at WA. I think there's one at Judy Black. So, and more to come. So we're going to keep adding to this so that hopefully people will come for more than just a meal.
Hey, Michelle,
Yeah.
in the text at the bottom that you're just showing us,
Down here?
yeah, it says April 1st to 31st. April only has 30 days.
30 days.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I will
You betcha.
make
Good eye.
Yes.
That flew right by me.
Hard to read it. That was
Hard to
quick.
read it, yeah,
I
good
know.
eyes,
Wow,
Robin.
you caught that fast as I'm
Yeah.
scrolling through
Yeah,
trying.
I like the logo. Does Sandor Max do this? The little thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, hey, for next time, we should put a little like inscription on the little ribbon there.
it had the date, and we decided we didn't want the date. We wanted to be able to reuse stuff.
Oh,
But
yeah, well, maybe-
but
well, maybe-
something that's evergreen would be great.
Yeah, I'd like, I don't know, like some that.
Some Latin
What's
that
Latin?
nobody understands.
Yeah, right.
Explain.
Well, like a coat of,
No.
it's like, it's Latin for eat.
Oh,
It's like mandiculum is chew. Mandiculum is chew. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I took Latin in high school. I have to dig too far
that's a
back.
long
Yeah.
time ago.
Like, well, manja would be Italian, but
Oh.
so it's got to be close to that.
Possibly. Anyway, yeah, I really like what they came up with, and I think it's simple and sort of that woodcut design, which reflects Washington. Here, we'll go back to the top. I don't want to make you sick. Sorry about that, but this is the logo that we're talking about right here. I just think it looks really nice and elegant and simple, and yeah, so we're excited about all of this and moving forward. A lot of work behind the scenes happening to get this all together. Are there any questions about Restaurant Week?
Are these real photos on the cover?
Yeah.
Of real restaurants in town?
Yeah, see, that's White Horse's Burger right there.
Are they credited? I see that. Are they credited anywhere? Who's on the cover?
That I don't. Cindermax usually does that. I don't know. They pulled the photos either from their social media pages or from something that they already had on Explore, so they might be credited on Explore. somewhere
Mm.
else.
Yeah,
I have to ask.
yeah, they might want that, you know.
Okay. I will ask about that. All right. If there are no other questions, I just encourage everyone to mark your calendars and go out to eat because some really cool menus are already coming in. And items, you know, some of the places like Marty's did not do a full menu, but some new items that they haven't served before. So that looks pretty exciting too. So mark your calendars for that. No questions?
No,
All right, well then I'm gonna stop this share because we're gonna go on then to the Gilmore Girls Fest that is happening in New Milford, which is the second weekend of Restaurant Week. And let me share. So at our last meeting, you all asked me to put together a flyer to share. Ooh, who's in the waiting room? Oh, Kristen. Nice. You asked me to come up with a flyer to share. So what I did is I put together, and you have a hard copy here, a half page. That's why it's doubled. And I want all of your feedback because I really was just starting from scratch. Wasn't exactly sure what all everyone was thinking on this. Let me first just reduce it so you can see the whole page. So it's the map that we've developed. I added 15 minutes from the center of New Milford, and there's a arrow right here that says to New Milford. So the idea is that they can find their way up to here, you know, along 202. I put in the QR code that brings you to Explore so that they will then be able to navigate to the events calendar and to every single shop and venue that we have here in Washington. And I did test the QR code to make sure it works. And then on the back side, I put just a quick, we have so much Gilmore Girls stuff. It was really hard to find a way to kind of stick it all on a half page. And I wasn't sure if sometimes more is not always better. I didn't know if I should just highlight a couple, but then I would have felt bad leaving a few people out. So I tried to sort of entice with a few, you know, if you know the Gilmore Girls, you know, that's why I referred to Luke's and Josie's and Rory Reed's and things like that to try to grab them in, and then highlighted the Restaurant Week with the QR code directly to the Restaurant Week page. So I am open to any suggestions, you know, first glance feedback.
Can you email us that?
Yes, absolutely. I know it's kind of hard. I've got copies here. Everyone was online. I should have sent it out before. You know what? I can try.
there's
I'm-
just a couple of punctuations. I'm seeing
A couple of what?
punctuations.
Oh, yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
thank you.
It's just a draft, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Send it along and we
I'll
can.
send it all to you by email. Please look it over. I mean, what are your first thoughts though? Was I capturing what we were thinking?
Yes, good.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. All right. So as long as I was getting close to what everyone thought this should look like, that's
Yeah.
great.
Good. I mean, are Averils and Starberry even open in April?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'm just.
I know everything that's our map where
You know, I
everything's on there.
understand, right, yeah, I was like,
Yeah. Is April?
Starberry wasn't open much last year either.
No, I know. I don't know how much longer they'll be. I don't know, unless they, I know, at Sheila at the church. I haven't seen them in ages. I'm hoping that they find either some young family member or somebody interested in taking over the peach orchard. Because that's been a staple in town for ages. So, all right. So I will email it to everyone. Please just take a look for typos and punctuation. And if you don't have any other thought, I mean, as you can tell, I was just grabbing stuff from Explore, kind of. So I can change out anything that you feel would be appropriate. My intent was to then send this off to the printers because they have 800 attendees. So I was going to have this printed like on a glossy paper and
you're
cut.
gonna need some lead time.
Yeah, so I know. So the quick turnaround, but the fest isn't until April 11th. So I have a few weeks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if it's just a two-sided flyer, like they can, but they'll need a few days.
Yeah, well, especially because it needs to be cut. I'm not
Yeah.
cutting all those.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's actually just to make sure they have enough that's not that kind of stock. They don't always,
Right.
because it's
No, yeah, not the normal. So I will actually, that's a good idea. I'll email them now and let them know it's coming, and then give us all a couple of days to take a look at it and check
and
for.
they can give you a turnaround time.
Yeah.
If they know it's in the pipeline, they'll be able to say, oh, we can give you a whatever 3-day turnaround, whatever. Yeah, I mean, the only thing, and I would have to see it to even know if you might want to consider your running list of things on the depot, on the green, and you might want to consider using the same Gilmore Girls font.
Yeah.
Unless it's not readable. I mean,
You mean the one that's in the title?
Right.
I don't usually work with what is it? Is it serifs? The little end things that go on the end. So I did move it to match it a little bit more. I usually go sans serif, which is like this.
Yeah, that's sans font.
Yeah.
Sans fonts don't have the little feet.
Right.
Yeah.
The feeds. I think they're called serifs. I don't know. Anyway,
Right.
I
Yeah.
can try to
Yeah, you're right.
match
The feet are called serifs.
I will try to match. I looked at that and then didn't go back to it. So
Well, it's just, I mean, I'm dating myself here, but when you would do layout, generally you don't want to use more than 2 fonts on a sheet.
yeah.
And if you do use more than 2, or if you use 2, you usually don't want to have 2 sans fonts or 2 serif fonts. You want to have one or the other. So
Right.
either you would change this to a sans font or use the same font that you had up on top.
Yeah.
Which and all the Gilmore Girls fans, they will recognize this font. It's iconic.
I mean, that's from that's their font. I'm not actually sure.
It is
because
from the show.
that
Yeah,
is from Explore.
Yeah,
One of our blog posts.
Yeah, it's actually a font that I think is pretty much it's available really on like Microsoft Word.
Okay.
It's not
Nothing fancy.
it's not one of those things you have to like download and pay for.
All right. I'll look. I'll poke around. I'll try to match that up. That's it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and if your program current, that would be really good to move it. Is it Washington a little closer?
So again, like I just pulled it. The
you pulled-
picture. I
Oh,
took
you
a
grabbed the
screenshot.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
didn't create that. No, I
that's
just
fine. You could,
I just pulled it
You just
directly
grabbed it.
from Explore. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's just from my years of designing CD.
But I'll try to
Yeah.
get it closer. I'll try to
Yeah.
get it closer.
Because I was used to design CD covers, so my canvas was like a little smaller
Square,
than
yeah,
but,
you had a
4
lot.
3/4 inches square. So,
You
Um,
you had to get a lot on
but
there.
it can be challenging to do a half sheet. People think it's so easy, but it's really not.
No, especially I was looking at all the blogs that we have on Explore and the guidebook page for the Gilmore Girls, and we have quite a bit of information. Just FYI to everyone out there, I've been in communication with the Mayflower, and I think I mentioned this last week, but we've had so many fans coming through that they have started getting complaints from their guests. So they asked, yeah, I mean, I've been there when they come through and they're all through the lobby taking selfies and stuff. So I get it. So they asked to be left off of this flyer. And so I didn't even mention them on the places to go. And anywhere that they are mentioned on the Explore website, they gave us a blurb to put there. They don't mind being listed, but I forget what it says exactly, but it says something to the effect of the Mayflower is open to guests of the inn and spa and those with reservations to the dining rooms or something like that along those lines. They're hoping to not have to put somebody down at the end of the driveway, but they might need to during some of the busy times. Because when they're full, if you can visualize, you drive up to their front entrance, and there isn't really a great place to turn around. And that parking, and they do valet parking because that parking lot just beyond is
Yeah.
not that big. So it just gets all congested, and they've got valet parking, and they've got drivers picking people up to go on excursions and do things. So it just gets a little hairy up there. We did talk about trying to create either some like a time of day that is sort of Gilmore Girl friendly, whether it's a tea time or something, or a special like reservation, where they don't want to be closed to fans. They appreciate the enthusiasm, and they're lovely people. It's just that it's gotten to be a little too much for the guests, and I understand that. So we're going to try to do some thinking about that. I mean, speaking of guests, just yesterday, I saw a little family wandering around town hall, and I went and introduced myself, and it was a mother, father, and daughter from Florida up here on spring break. They chose this for the Gilmore Girls, and they were walking around. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, it's March and it's Monday. Nobody was open. It was like rainy and overcast, but they were having a blast, and we're doing just a New England tour for a week or two. They were heading to Boston in another day or two. So they come all year, but in the summer and the fall, it gets to be a little much for the Mayflower anyway. So that will be new added to the literature. And then Fran, while you're here, just so everyone knows, I got a text from Autumn late last week saying that the bus company, they were going to run buses to Washington Friday and Saturday afternoons, but the bus company now said they can't do Friday afternoon. So they're looking for another bus company, which I don't know if they're going to have a lot of luck with that. I said, well, at least keep the Saturday, even if you can't keep the Friday. And I asked again for the Saturday schedule so that we can try to get your book signing.
Yeah, I've scheduled it. I've
Oh, you
scheduled it.
did?
Yeah, I've scheduled it from 2 to 4 on Saturday
Okay, great.
at the store. And we'll decide based on what's happening, how formal it is, whether it's just a book signing, whether she's going to also probably bring a couple of other people who were in the book.
Okay. So, that was one of the things I was sort of waiting to fall into place, but I was wondering if I should put that on the flyer. I mean, it'll go on Explore, but I could I could reduce the Restaurant Week graphic and put,
I mean, other stuff will go out. I mean, this looks good. And it's all encompassing.
All right. Well, if the buses are running on Saturday, I mean, I think that's prime
I mean, it's going
time.
to catch whoever is coming,
Yeah. Absolutely. And I would definitely put do you have a sandwich board?
we
Oh
do.
yeah, you have one with like chalk or something. Yeah, just make sure it's sort of out front so people, that they see it. That's right. I've seen it. You guys put that up. All right. Great. I'm glad you decided on that. All right. Are there any other questions or comments about the Gilmore Girls? I'll email that out so that everyone can take a closer look before we go to print. All right, great. So I will stop sharing that. Moving on to the guidebook update. So I have not done as much work on this in the last week or two because I've been communicating with all the restaurants and working on that. But, oh wait, wrong folder. I did get some pricing from Sandor Max. So
Michelle, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to apologize. Like I've contacted this person like 3 times. They haven't gotten back to me, so I apologize.
that's okay. That's all right. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. And it's kind of a tricky one. Like, it's not just a straight up quote for, you know, an 8.5 by 11. You know, it's a very specific with very specific paper on that outside cover that folds and everything. So
Cover stapled, that's,
yeah, it's a big deal. So the reprint, so the prices that I got were $1.37 a piece if we order 7,000, and $1.17 a piece if we order 10,000, which is actually not that much more than last time, except that last time we only ordered 6,000. So, and this includes 6 imprints plus the just generic WVA one, which is also great. As long as those each imprints, and so it's just so you understand what we mean by an imprint. This is going to be hard to see, but see how the back of this one was sponsored by Posh Pads. And let's see, I can't read this. William Ravis, this one was Rumsey. So the different organizations that sponsored them got to have their logo on the back, and it said compliments of. So
how many imprints do they give us?
6 plus the plain.
So 7 total?
7 total.
Wow, that's pretty good.
It's really good. And last year we only had 6. As long, and they have I think the only caveat is they must order at least 500 of each imprint. That's the minimum.
I think they all want that anyway.
Yeah, right. I don't think anyone would order less than 500.
Okay.
So my next step is then to get that information. I had been contacting everyone who had ordered the books before to just say, hey, we're working on an update, etc. And would you like to reorder? And their next question to me was, well, how much is it? And I didn't know. So now I need to try to explain this pricing, because so we ordered 6,000 last time. I feel pretty confident we can get to the 7,000. I don't know about the 10,000. I don't know what the WBA is thinking. The Smithy was potentially interested, so that would be an additional person ordering, but I don't have commitments from everyone from before. So
how long did the run of 6,000 last?
Well, it was 2022 spring, I think, when we see, I have a delivery invoice. Summer. They shipped in July of 2022. And
we're basically out.
Yeah, we're basically out.
So,
And for all intents and purposes, we've been out for several months. I mean, there have been dribs and drabs of them, but to have them universally available, we've been out since September.
Okay, so the run of 6,000 effectively lasted less than 2.5 years. Now, I mean, of course, now there is you don't want it to last too long because there are going to be changes in vendors and whatever, just turnover. So you do want to be able to update it every couple of years. So
yeah.
Well, do you know the unit price from the last time?
Yeah. So last time, they said 124 no imprint, 174 with imprints, and I think we sort of, the average was 148. I think we sort of split that through. So
we're actually getting a better rate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
well, I mean,
sorta. Yeah. 37, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. So, well, I mean, if if our vendors who want to have their logo on the back know that it's basically the same price as last time, I can't, there's no reason for them to say no if they've already expressed interest. It's like,
I
it's not
agree.
like they're on the hook for,
No, and it didn't go up exorbitantly. Yeah, right.
well, it doesn't look like it went up at
No,
all.
no. So hopefully everyone will order. I will confirm that with everybody. And I think what we probably need to do is just set a due date for all of our updates. Everybody that was assigned pages has been doing a fantastic job. All the notes are going in. I have met with, oh, of course, I don't have all my notes here, but both of the new stores going into the depot. And they're getting, well, let's see, one got the write-up for me already. And a couple of people are working on changes that they wanted made, and I didn't have a due date, so now I need to chase those down. So I don't know. I would love for the due date to be, I would like to get Restaurant Week kind of under my bag, at least started, because I have a lot to do in the next week, but I'm hoping maybe in the next 2 weeks we can finish up the updates, and in the meantime I'll be working on securing the order.
Okay.
We have,
Well, I'm just doing some quick math here.
Yeah.
I think actually going for the 7,000 is probably smarter. I mean, the unit cost is nice savings in the unit cost, but effectively, just in terms of churn rate, if you got the 10,000, you'd be on an average probably having them for another year. So do we want to, do we want to redo this in 2 years, or do we want to do this and redo this in 3 years? Is essentially
yeah, that's a good,
question. I mean, that's more of a question for the business community. It's like, how much churn do you think you're going to see in the retail sector? Because the longer you have it, the more likely you are to have
updates.
folks listed in the guidebook at the end of the run who aren't there anymore. So it's a tough call.
I don't know, Fran. What do you think? I mean, I feel like this 2 years. Well, it's actually kind of 3. It was like, well, it was the summer of 22, and now we're going into the 25 season.
Yeah, she said though that basically by this past fall they were effectively out. So that's like 2+
2
years.
years. Yeah.
With 6,000. So if you get 7,000, maybe you get this. If you think the same burn rate, you're talking maybe 2.5 years you'd get out of 7,000. That's
well, and we didn't get them till August, right? So, and the busy season. I think 7,000 does seem like a good number. I agree.
yeah,
Because the update, there are quite a few changes we're making.
There's significant changes. Really, there are a lot of changes.
well, I think you'd want to go with a smaller run to give you a sooner crack at the inevitable changes. It's just so.
That makes sense.
So I would say go with 7.
Okay. All right. So I'll just quote that pricing then, because I don't want to complicate the email with if then this, if then that.
Yeah, just tell them here's the price, and
this is what you did last year.
and by the way, it's actually a couple cents cheaper than 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, give them the reference, because to save them the trouble of looking back to see what they paid, by the way, 3 years ago, this is what you paid for them. And they'll see it's a few cents cheaper. It'll be like, oh, okay. Which is the response that you want. So,
right.
You want them to be like, oh yeah, okay, I said I would do this. Oh, look, it's not going to cost me any more than before. No surprises, so.
Right.
But Michelle, there is a difference in pricing between those who are imprinting their own business on it versus those who, just the generic guidebook. There was the last time there was a difference.
This time they're not charging us a higher rate, so it's just to say they said
No, I don't know whether they charged at a higher rate. I don't remember those details, and Julia might be able to, but we charged 2 different rates.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I have the quote from Sandor Max from 2022 here,
I
And
mean,
the,
theoretically, then everybody should be able to, if anyone who wanted to order 500 should be able to put their name on it, but I don't think you want to get into that.
Not enough.
yeah, well, because I don't know what happens if we do the more than 6. The pricing that I got said up to 6 plus the generic, so technically 7. Um, so I don't know. Yeah, right. If we get too many, yeah, additional. I don't know who handled the billing, because I think did the
Well, I was
WBA.
involved in soliciting, but I mean, I don't remember how, I suppose, I don't know who. I mean, Julia would know, or Lisa should know.
Okay. Is there a WBA committee working that is sort of assigned to the guidebook, or no? I just should
No.
talk to Lisa. Okay. Because I don't want to put anything in the email that is not accurate. So, if they paid 172 last time, then it's much less. I don't know how they were billed.
I mean,
Since
I
didn't
can go
know
back,
that.
I can go back and see if I have notes on it. But
Okay.
Lisa may have recollection of it too.
Okay. Okay. Great. So hopefully we'll get this turned around. It will not be in time, clearly, for restaurant week, but should be in time for high season. Speaking of which, I forgot to put this on the agenda, but I have already started the summer postcard events update. I have another folder for that. Wayne's seeing I have all my folders with all my papers. It's kind of crazy.
You see a desk and you get into somebody's mind, and
Mhm.
boy, sometimes you just don't want to go.
No, I was just gonna say it's looking a little cluttered here.
In fact, I'm going to go around and you dropped one on the floor.
Did I? Oh, geez. So anyway, I'm starting on that. It's amazing because it kind of all goes together as I'm talking to people to get their guidebook updates, or I'm making sure they're getting their events on the events calendar and verifying events for the postcard. So it's sort of been happening at the same time. We're ahead of schedule for the 2025 postcard, but I didn't bring that folder down, but Memorial Day is the 26th. And I know we like to be in the mailboxes before that because that's sort of the beginning of the postcard. And so we shoot for the mailboxes like around the 20th, give or take, which means to the printers like the 15th, give or take. So edits need to be in by early May. So we have April to work on that, but we'll be coming off having just finished the guidebook. So there's a lot of production going on at the moment. So as you all, I have extras of last year's postcard. Let's get through this Gilmore Girls flyer, and then I'll send it around as people hear about events. We can just double check to make sure everything on there is accurate. Most of the events are already going on to Explore, so we know what the organizations are intending, but we just need to check in and try to make that as complete as possible. And that covers Memorial Day to early September-ish. It is interesting because a lot of the big fundraisers that were the big galas and things that were in the summer have now been moved to September. So we'll see how much of September we pick up on that postcard, but it's definitely through August. Yeah, so that's another thing I've been working on. Any questions or other additional comments about the guidebook or summer postcard? No. All right. Well, we've got Jim here, and I actually see him, so I'm going to jump before he goes away. Do you have anything to share with us, Jim?
Not really. Let's see. Everything budget wise is winding down. We were able to provide for most, I would say 99% of department requests, so with very little cuts this year, even though we had a relatively flat grand list in terms of revenue, but so things are good on that front moving forward. EDC, housing, all get the requests that they had submitted, so I think that's pretty good news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all good.
Awesome. Awesome. I did bring down my dates just so everyone would know, and I shared this with Housing and the Arts Council. The Board of Selectmen will be presenting their budget on March 27th. Unfortunately, I can't be there because Habitat, there's a housewarming for Habitat that same time. March 31st is when the Board of Selectmen is going to present that budget to the Board of Finance.
Correct.
April 21st, the Board of Finance is going to deliberate on the budget and hopefully just, decide. But if they need to schedule extra meetings, sometimes they do. The budget hearing will be May 1st, and then the town budget vote is May 15th. Please, everybody, mark your calendars for May 15th for the vote to make sure we're here to support the town budget.
It's important to note, Michelle, that the hearing, I hope people understand this, the hearing is the opportunity for people to lobby the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen to actually make changes to the budget. The budget vote, there is no debate, there's no Q&A, there's no discussion, it's simply a vote up or down. And although we've done that for the last 200 plus years, it does seem to get lost. There's always someone who's disappointed, and I just want to see if people hear from folks in town that they want to get that message out.
Great. That's great. Well, and that's why I always share with my committees the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance process too, because I feel like it's easier. May 1st is kind of last minute, right? Like things are pretty set by the hearing. I mean, it is definitely a good time for comments, but if there's something that you really want to see, I feel like those are good times to make comments. So there's time for them to adjust if possible or if needed. I'm glad to hear that the requests of the commission so far are going forward. So I just encourage everyone to be there on the 15th to support that. There will be also a few. Well, and the 1st is the hearing. Yep. And so if there are comments to be made that you want to share, that's a good time to do that. There will be also a few other items to vote on at that town budget vote. Mm-hmm. So come if you can.
That's all for me, Michelle. Thank you.
All. Hey, do you know what, Jim? Can you tell me, because people keep asking, the speed monitoring thing, when is that going live?
We're the only hang up now is we're waiting on this company that's crafted these special breakaway poles, which the DOT required. So as soon as those are here, obviously, knock wood, we're into the spring season. Public Works will be able to set those signs. Honestly, within 5 days after their arrival, we just don't know when that is.
Okay. So these poles are more special than like all the other speeding sign poles and such?
Yes, because of the amount of hardware they have to carry. They are different than a standard street sign.
Okay. Wayne finds that humorous.
I'm sorry, I can't. That we have to have a special breakaway pole in case somebody hits the speed limit sign.
Which would only break.
There's a little more than a little irony there, right? I mean, if they're driving so badly that they hit the sign, I mean, I think whether it's a breakaway pole or not is kind of beyond that caring at point, isn't it? I mean,
it only breaks away if they're going 9 miles an hour over the speed limit.
I got it.
I'm kidding.
All the things. All right. So still not live, but coming soon. All right. Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Fran, anything else from the WBA?
I don't think so. Ryan, can you think of anything else that we've talked about that we have? I mean, Restaurant Week and poetry were the main topics of our last meeting.
Yeah, that and the Gilmore Girls, like those have been the three
Gilmore Girls.
Ongoing consuming topics.
Yeah, busy stuff.
And the social, but that's
The,
it.
the annual meeting
Right.
is a week from Wednesday.
You know what? I can ask the two of you because I read through that email. And you've added a corporate member level this year versus individual. And I understood what that meant in thinking of maybe like realtors, for example, where the home office.
That's the origin.
Okay, basically for realtors. But when the intent, like, so I am a member. The EDC pays dues. So
Right.
who is actually considered the member? Is it all of us? Is it just
No, I
like
mean,
the intention is to be like,
could everybody on this committee come to the dinner? Is that what you're asking? I mean, as an example.
well, I don't know. I was trying to figure out, well, then should I become a corporate member so that everybody could be a member, but then they would have to pay $75 to be an individual member.
Right.
So I just
I
was
mean,
gonna
it
review.
came as a request from the realtors because some of their members really saw it as a network, I think as a networking opportunity to be able to attend the socials and the dinner. We haven't gone so far as to really discuss it in terms of town boards. Happy to bring it to the next meeting if you'd like.
I might be
Uh,
the only one that's a member, but I do know that Julia has often expressed interest in attending because she likes to put faces with all of the, she gets all these emails for events and for updates
Yeah,
to the
I
website.
have a feeling that could be handled without it becoming a membership issue. But
Okay.
I'll mention that to, I'll bring that up, but I don't think that's
I
an
just
issue.
wanted to understand, yeah, the
Well,
new.
it's new, if there were a need, certainly it could be addressed.
Okay.
And as I said, and as you said originally, it was an initiative by the realtors. And that's what constituted the change. And somewhat modeled off, and I don't even remember who, another community, but I mean, there was a model for it, but can carry it further in terms of the request.
That sounds great. I just wanted to ask about it.
Yeah,
I knew that was new.
it's interesting, so we can find out.
Yeah.
We'll be prepared for you.
Great, great, thanks. All right. Any other, I have one more thing. Sustainability Committee got the proposals back for the EV chargers, and we're really excited. We're hoping that the Eversource grant money is still available because it looks like we're going to go for putting an EV charger up at the Nick Platt Field and one at the Titus lot back in the municipal lot back there, which is fantastic. And we want to promote that. It's going to be, help put us on the map as a place to stop if you're traveling the northwest corner and you need to charge. And both of those locations allow people to walk down to get something to eat or to go shopping or whatever. So it's really great for economic development as well as sustainability. So hopefully those will move forward. I'm excited about those. And they're going to be faster chargers, I believe, than what is in the depot. Boy, we've been doing a big deep dive onto all of the different levels.
Level two, so it's gonna be level 2 chargers?
Well, they're level 2s, but there's like 5 different kinds of level 2s with the amps and and each car is different. And some cars can use this. We were going to put the 80 amps in, but most cars can't take that. And 40 amp is standard. I think we're putting in 50 amp, which I don't know, but the idea is that with an hour or two of charging, you should be able to get to at least the next available charger. It's not to get a full charge. That you need to do overnight at home or at some supercharger somewhere. Those level 3 charging, that's just that's something different. So we've been learning a lot about that, but I'm excited. And once we get through all of the printing stuff that we're doing and gearing up for the summer, we can talk then about the Nick Platt lot over in New Preston and what we can do to kind of zhuzh that up a little. So that's exciting. Does anyone else have anything not on the agenda to share or for us to think about? All right. Well, if there's no other business, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thanks, Liz. Like nobody wants to leave. Okay. Do I have a second?
Second,
All right. Thanks, Kristen. Kristen, are you still in Arizona?
I am, and that's why I was an hour late because I forgot the time change.
No worries. No worries. We're
Someday
glad-
I'll figure it out.
I'm glad you could join, and you'll get the email about the flyer so you can help look for any corrections on that too. So that's our next urgent piece of business. So without any other business, we'll adjourn at 4:05. Nice work, people.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.